4,000 acres have been burned by 3 wildfires spreading right now in the Los Angeles area.
William La Jeunesse live in Malibu, California, standing in front of a burning home. He joins us now. William.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, this is going to likely be the most destructive fire in state history based on what I've seen over the last 12 to 24 hours. I've been coming in north on PCH. Keith came in from the south, and I can tell you, so the Pacific Ocean is literally right over there. These homes are right on the beach. There are 3 burning right now. As you can see, 3 others burned earlier. And as I came down PCH from the north, I had to see about 24 homes burning along the beach like this. As you can see, the cliffs are on the right, the bluff here, and then this is PCH, and the ocean is literally right now to my left, to your left. But I got to tell you, this fire is so big and moved so fast. There weren't enough firefighters to even begin to cover this thing moved so fast. It came right out of the Palisades, and it moved some to the south towards Santa Monica, a place called Chautauqua Canyon right now, Rustic Canyon. That's burning, according to the TV that I looked at earlier today. And then I came in from the north, and remember we started at Cross Creek in Malibu a month ago on that fire? This fire has virtually reached that area. We're talking about 5 to 10 miles in about less than 8 hours. And there are fires burning, and there are no fire crews anywhere to be seen because they are simply occupied somewhere else. The winds are dry, they're unpredictable, very strong. They recorded some 99-mile-an-hour winds up in the mountain passes. Down here at the beach, around 50 miles an hour, gusting at least. Earlier tonight, I know there were 30,000 had been evacuated just in the Palisades fire. 10,000 homes were threatened. I can easily tell you that's going to be double by the time we get an update, probably this morning around 6 or 7 a.m. local. But you know, when we had this fire in the Palisades, you guys, people are used to seeing wildfires in Santa Barbara, Malibu, where houses are maybe 1 per acre, 1 every 2 acres or so. The Palisades is very, very dense. And when the fire started ripping through there, Palisades High School, up in that area. It's a very dense neighborhood. The topography is still, there's bluffs, there's ridges, there's hillsides there. And of course, as you guys know, fire moves very quickly uphill like that. And the winds are are unpredictable, but they're so strong, the firefighters really have very little hope of saving some of these homes because it's just moving so fast. They brought in at one point in time out of Palisades, which again, very dense, very populated area. People were trying to evacuate, and the flames started coming down. They were forced to leave their cars. You probably heard about this. And policemen came up to them, and witnesses said, "Get out of your car and run if you want to live." And at this point in time, bulldozers had to come in and literally push those cars aside to make room for the fire trucks. And that was an area near Puerto Marino and again, parts of the Palisades. I'm going to send it back to you, but right now I can tell you we have fires in the Palisades, in Malibu, in Pasadena, Altadena, and Sylmar. And this one in Malibu, they hadn't, when I went to bed last night, it hadn't even moved into this area. So you have those high winds are expected, peak winds right now, basically until 5 o'clock this morning, but still we're expecting high winds probably until Thursday. And the way this thing is moving, there's just going to be more homes destroyed.
Yeah, William, I mean, yeah, absolutely. 0% containment, and we're hearing 5 football fields every single minute. That's how quickly this fire is moving. I mean, William, you've covered it all. And California is used to wildfires, but this feels like on an entirely other level. What separates this fire from things you've seen in the past?
Well, definitely the persistent high winds. I mean, when I was driving down, you had embers that looked like a snowstorm, really, and they were just bouncing along PCH. As I came in today, I can't tell you how many down power lines and transformers and power poles were sticking right across PCH like this. So it's the strength of the wind, and of course, the longer it blows, the drier the vegetation. We're in technically our rainy season, our wet season. season that should start basically November, December, January, February, and then it begins to tail off. And we've had marginal rain, honestly, over the last 2 months. It's been extremely dry, but this wind event is massive. I mean, it goes from, as many people know, LA is a basin, basically. We're surrounded by mountains, the San Bernardinos, the Santa Susana, the San Gabriels, the Santa Monicas, and those winds coming down, the high pressure out of Las Vegas, and they come down through those canyons and they really pick up steam. It's just the breadth of this thing right now is got all of Southern California on notice. And of course, what that means is firefighters are going to be spread really, really thin. As I said, as I came down, there were fires burning and there was no firefighters anywhere. They're doing their best, obviously, but they're occupied on different structures, and they can't get ahead of this thing. In fact, last night around 8 o'clock, they had to ground the helicopters and even the fixed wing because the winds were so strong. Earlier on the Palisades fire, when it broke out, they had 2 Chinook helicopters, the twin rotors, and they stopped dropping because the winds were so strong that by the time the retardant or the water was to hit the ground, it had gone about a football field, and so they couldn't target the water, the retardant, on the flames. So one of the firefighters at a presser said, "What's the point of driving around and dropping retardant when you can't hit your target?" So those are some of the problems and the challenges that they're having.
William, I want to focus on the density aspect of this, and I want to focus on conversations you had with your colleague who drove up from the south, because that's where my attention goes for Wednesday. And here's the reason. Yes, the Palisades is an extremely dense area, but if you think the Palisades is dense, go to Santa Monica, go to Brentwood. The density is exponentially greater in those communities. And I've seen the evacuation orders stop at Montana Boulevard. That is a key factor, because if the fire jumps Montana and makes its way into northern Santa Monica, we are going from what I would call catastrophic to an apocalypse, because not only are there homes, but there are more homes. They are more densely packed, and the apartments fan out throughout the Santa Monica and Brentwood area. Give some context into what your colleague saw when he or she was driving up, and your concern for how horrific this could ultimately get.
You know, I don't know where to begin. I mean, I've lived in Santa Monica. I know this area. I have another house down on Coastline near the old Getty. That street was wiped out last night. We talked to some old friends there. I think they saved the Getty and all the antiquities, the Roman, the Greek, the Phoenician antiquities there. They would try to save that, the old Getty, like they would the Reagan Library, right? But that area of Coastline, the Reel Inn, Topanga Canyon, this fire just continued to jump. Now, we thought it was going to simply move basically north and west, right? But in fact, it moved south into Rustic Canyon, into Santa Monica. And as I know you're trying to relate to people, we're just talking about super, super tight neighborhoods. Santa Monica, between the high rises and the homes there along Montana, San Vicente, the fire I know is up to San Vicente right now. And if it does get into there, I can't even begin to tell you it was going to sweep through these neighborhoods, and it's going to go house to house, because there's an area where, you know, you can hear the person's toilet flush next door. They're that close. Unlike Malibu, where I'm at now, there's some distance between it. But if those fires get into those neighborhoods, there's no telling how many structures could be lost. And I'm sure by now they've got evacuation orders probably all the way down, as you said, to Montana, but also in the north, not quite to Point Dume yet, not to Zuma, but it's getting that far. As I said today, and I hate to use these terminologies that people are not familiar with, but the fire has almost reached Cross Creek. That's the middle of Malibu. That's how fast it moved up PCH and also towards Mulholland, and there are houses interspersed in there. But as we intimated, you know, the Palisades is still a very, very dense area around the Bel Air Beach Club, around Pali High. It got into town. I know my dentist's office was hit as well, right in the center of town in Pali there. So this is a major fire, and they haven't even begun. It is 0% contained. It's burning out of control. So we're supposed to have these high winds at least till 5 a.m. this morning, but but through the day tomorrow and even into Thursday, excessive winds over 25 miles an hour. But we're having gusts, as I said here, 40 to 50. So they've got a huge road ahead.
William La Jeunesse, please stay safe. I know you're trained for this. They do special fire training for reporters and anchors out in California, but this is something different. Please, colleague and friends, stay safe.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.